Hello, and thank you for attending the Sumitomo webinar for our product configurator. My name is Matthew Roberson, and I'm the Vice President of Sales for the U.S. market. The purpose of this webinar is not to make you a configurator programmer or even an expert. It's designed to help you become more efficient at using this tool and perhaps introduce you to more capabilities of the configurator. Now, if you are on this call, you are already using the configurator, so we will skip the basics. Now, before I go into general housekeeping and the introduction, please allow me to tell you a little bit about Sumitomo and our product configurator. Sumitomo is a 400-year-old company that started in the Japanese copper mines in 1691. Since then, Sumitomo has grown into one of the largest corporations in the world, employing over 72,000 people globally. Sumitomo Drives Technology started in Carlstadt, New Jersey in 1966. We moved to Teterboro, New Jersey in 1977 and relocated the business to our current headquarters in Chesapeake, Virginia in 1988. We currently reside in a 250,000 square foot facility in Chesapeake, and we have 3 assembly facilities in the United States, one in Chicago, one in Corona, California, and one in Louisville, Kentucky. We also have facilities throughout Latin America and Canada. We employ over 450 people in the Western Hemisphere that are highly trained and eager to help you with your power transmission needs. Now, our product configurator has been in the works for 6 years now and was officially launched in April 2010. It now contains our entire product portfolio with the exception of Paramax, our large industrial line. These products include our cycloconcentric speed reducer and gear motor, our newest product, the BBB4 and 5. This is the most feature-rich right-angle product in the industry. Our Hyponic, which is an energy-efficient and maintenance-free lower horsepower right-angle product, and of course our HBB, our robust offset parallel product. All these configurations can be either selected in an integral gear motor or free input shaft reducer. So there you have it. The commercial is now over, and I appreciate your attention and thank you for your patience. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping. Again, your phone is muted. We encourage you to use the built-in chat function of the webinar to ask any questions or notify us of any connection problems. There will be plenty of time at the end of this webinar to review any questions that you may have. With that, I would like to introduce you to Brian Perkins. Brian is a product configurator manager here at Sumitomo. Brian, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Matt. I also want to thank everyone for taking the time to join this webinar to improve using these configuration tools. During the next 30 minutes, I really hope to cover something new that, at least for you, is new that you've never seen before. I know everyone is busy these days, so I wanted to make this time valuable and worth your time in joining us today. Over the course of this demonstration, I'm going to walk through a couple of things that we actually have gotten user requests on, such as how do I do a quick select. I'm going to talk a little bit about working with projects, search and filter. Then we're going to go into copying a configuration, and then we'll wrap it up by talking about some results and some feedback. I'm going to start off slow in the demonstration, but within 15 or 20 minutes, I'll begin using many of the featured functions together, and this is really when you get the most efficient use of managing Sumitomo configurations. I'd also like to remind everyone to submit any questions as I walk through the demonstration so we can maximize the question and answer portion at the end of the webinar. Okay, let's jump right into the demonstration.
So the first question that I want to walk through is, and we get this pretty much from everybody using the configurator, how can I make a faster selection if I only need a basic unit? So for example, if I only need a CHHJ 6145 15:1, do I have to walk through all of the screens to get the information at the end, the results? And the answer to that is no. So I'm going to walk through that example this morning and actually show you how to do a quick select using the Configurator tool. So by clicking on Create Product Selection, I'm going to go into the Cyclo Configurator application, and I'm going to call this Configuration Quick Select 1, and maybe I'll just put Cyclo here. And under my project name, I'm going to leave that as none for now, and click Continue. And as this application opens up, you'll notice that we have some left side panels here, and they talk about our completed options and the options that are still to be configured. So these are the input groups, and as I mouse over them, you'll see that there are inputs that I have not answered yet, so therefore I don't have a full configuration. So I'm going to go through the nomenclature path just to make this a little quicker. And I'm going to choose my cyclo reducer, and I'll make it a 1750, and I want it a 6145, so I'll scroll down and select that. And the ratio that I was looking for was an 11:1. And now I'll click Continue. What I want you to notice on the product ratings review page is that this is the first place we're encountering a model number. And you'll notice that the model number begins with a C for cyclo nomenclature, but we have some underlines or underscores here. This means that we have an incomplete configuration. So I can't do anything about this yet because we still are in the selection process. So I'm going to go ahead and click Continue and get to the next page, and you'll notice that the H has automatically come up because it defaults to a foot mount. I could change it here, but I'm going to go ahead and leave it a foot mount. And I'm going to select the horizontal, and I'll make it a standard inch shaft. And the last thing I have to do to complete the nomenclature is to put in what kind of adapter, input style I would like. So I'll choose the C-face, NEMA C-face adapter. And then I have to put in the motor frame size for this unit. I'll make it a 182 TC. And at this point, you'll notice that the model number has now completely built. There's no more underscores, no more underlines. You will also notice from the left side panels that I've only gone through a couple of input groups, and I still have a lot more input groups that are still left to go through. But let's say that at this point I'm done. So I want a basic unit, and it's now complete. If all I want is a technical specification sheet, and I'm not interested in getting a CAD model for the selection, I can go ahead and click on Complete Product Selection, and it's going to take me to the end. It says Ready for Configuration, and at this point I can go ahead and click on Configure, and it will send it to the Inventor application to actually build and create the results for this. Now you also notice I could wait and let everything build accordingly, or I could click on Notify Me when complete, and it would actually send me an email once all the results are completed. But another option you can do is just click your Product Selections tab and continue working. So I'm going to walk through again, create that same configuration, except this time I'm going to call it Quick Select 2 Cyclo. And I want to show you that if I just start out from the very beginning and try to click Product Selection, it's going to yell at me and tell me that I can't. I have some things that I have to fill in. So if I go back here and I go to Nomenclature and click Continue, and try to jump to it, it's going to say, okay, you've got to complete the requirements that are on at least this screen. So I'll go ahead and select a 1750 RPM again. I'll make this a 6145. This time I'll make it a 15:1. And I'll say complete product selection. Notice that it stops me and it brings me to the cycle configuration selection screen. Because intuitively what the program is doing is it's looking at all the basic requirements that you need to have a cyclo selection. And because some things are missing or incomplete, it will stop at those places and say, this is a minimum that needs to be completed. So I've bypassed my review page, my product ratings, and it brought me right here to the cycle configuration selection page so that I could finish this one out. So if this time I want to go with a flange mount, and I'll fill in the rest of my default information. Maybe this time I'll put a quill hollow shaft input on, and I'll make this a 143 TC. Now at this point I have a complete model number as it's shown here, and I can again go right to the complete the product selection and click configure, and it's building. Now another question may come up, well, how do I know that my original one is done? Or how do I know it's in process? The way you can tell that something is still being built is it will say initiated under the status column. But now I have everything saying it's configured. So my basic cyclo demo 1, my basic cyclo demo 2 are showing that they're complete. So let me go ahead and filter, and this is actually Quick Select 2 is the one that I just built. So this one is showing initiated, it's not complete yet. But my first one is. So if I look at my results, it's still building the one that I just said to configure. But if I look at the one that I previously did, now I have all the results associated with that unit. So my technical specification sheet is complete, the 2D geometry PDF, and I did not ask for it to create a CAD model, so I don't have one. And let me go back to product selections here. Now, there's a secondary way of doing a quick select, and let's say that I have a new request for a cyclo, a basic unit cyclo, but at this time somebody wants a higher ratio than 11 or 15:1, and they really want a top mount. They're not interested in a C-face or hollow shaft adapter. What I can do is I can copy this configuration, and by going in and changing the name to Quick Select, we'll call this one 3, I'm going to take off the rebuild because I do not want the configurator to rebuild the exact same configuration because I'm going to modify it. And I'll click on Submit. Now you'll notice what it's done is it's giving me a copy, a complete copy of what I just asked for. So it brought over, no project. It's telling me it's initiated, but you'll notice that I have no results. So my results is grayed out for this selection, which forces me to go into edit mode. Now, because it's a complete copy, all of the things that I've previously put into the selection are there. So as you see, I can scroll through and I can see all of the information that I want. So on this one, I said instead of that C-face adapter, let's put in a top mount. And let's change this up a little bit. Let's make this flange mount. We'll make it vertical down, and we'll just make it free input. So you'll see that my model number is changing as I'm going through the selection process. I'll go back to making it foot mount to get that top mount on there. And this time I'll make it a 256T motor frame, and I'll actually give it a high foot option. So I have a 614H. At this point I do want a CAD model, so I'm going to go into my CAD model format selection, and I'm going to choose a 3D SAT file, click continue, and now configure. So as you see, I did not have to go through all of the screens. I'm not including options, but there are some basic things that I have to select for those units in order for it to get all the way through to get to the configuration point. Another question that we often get is, how can I modify or add a project once it is assigned to a configuration? As you'll notice in the project column, I've got a bunch of nones, and if I click on any one of those, a little window will open up and it'll show me the current projects that I have listed in the drop-down menu. But let's say I want a brand new one and it's not there, so I want to assign it one. Well, as you can see, there's no add, so I don't have the ability to add a new project here. However, if I go up to the search tab bar and click on My Projects, when this window opens up, there's a place that I can actually go in and create a new project, and then click on Add New Project. And you'll notice that up here it says Project has been created. So now when I go back and I click on Project and open up the window, I can assign it to that new project. And I'll go through and assign all of these to my new project. So I'll wait a minute and let everyone's screens catch up to that. So now I've got a few projects that or a few configurations that I put into this project called a new project. So now let's say I only want to look at all of my configurations that I've assigned into that specific project. Well, the way to do that is up here again on the search bar menu. There is this filter off button, and if I click on that, it opens up a filter window. And right now you can see that my filter is turned off, that I have all my projects, all my products, all customer, all status, everything that I've created configuration-wise I'm now looking at. But if I click on the drop-down, you'll notice, oh, well, where is my project? I don't see the project that's listed here, because these are the ones that I commonly used and they're not here. What I can do is just in the project itself start typing a new project, and there it is. It appears. So this is a way to also keep our drop down from getting way out of hand, but it is there. So now if I apply the filter, I'm only going to see the 3 configurations that are assigned to that project. If you also just have a hard copy of like a technical specification sheet, and there's a specific selection ID or configuration number at the top, you can also go over to the search window, and let me just type in one of the ones that's showing here on the screen. So once I put in a valid configuration number, I can click Go, and it'll find it. If I clear out that information and click Go, it'll put me back just looking at my filtered projects of a new project. Now I'm going to go in and I'm actually going to turn that off. I want to look at all of my configurations. So there they are. Another way to look just at my projects, if I put in that information up here and say I want to see a new project, then I'm going to see everything that has new project. That's going to have a or new or project associated with it. So for example, if I wanted to also see, and right now I'm in testing because I don't know if this will work. Yes, it does. If I want to see all of my CHHP units, I can put that information in search, and it also pulls that up from the model number. So now I'm looking at all of my CHHPs. I can also modify projects and names. So for example, let's say this one says none, but I do want to apply this to my new project. So I'm going to put that in a new project. But now, if I go back in and I filter on a new project, and I still have the CHHP, so I'll clear that out. So I can see all of my configurations for a new project. Let's say I have one here that doesn't say Quick Select. By just clicking on that, it's going to open up a window that's going to allow me to reassign this configuration name. So I'll call this one Demo of Cyclo 2. So now I can rename my configurations as well. So within a project or a folder, I also have the capability of modifying the product selection names, and I don't have to go back through a new configuration to get the same result. The last thing I want to point out is the feedback. Feedback really is important to the project team because this is the information that we use for all the future enhancements and projects and items that we want to put in the next service pack of our products. It's real easy to provide us feedback. In fact, we even tell people if you only speak Spanish and you don't speak English and you want to put it in another language, feel free to put it in any language. We will translate it for you. This provides the project team direct access to your comments. We review these on a daily basis, and we respond back to you within 2 business days of supplying us a feedback report. And this could be anything. This does not have to tell us that there's a problem, which obviously we want to know about right away, but also anything in the future that you'd like to see. So we often get the comment, I love the configurator, but I wish it contained blank. Well, we don't know that until you send us back a feedback with that information. And that's going to help us assess what we really want to work on for the next iteration of updates for both the products and also to give new functionality to the configurator. So if there's a way to do it, we will discuss it and put it on our short list of items for the next enhancements. So with that, I hope that you learned something new, at least one thing, and I hope that by enhancing your configurator experience using the Sumitomo applications, that you'll find that this is a very quick and easy to use tool that's very intuitive. You cannot break it. Keep clicking. Don't hesitate to click around and see what new things the buttons offer. And hopefully we have enhanced your user experience. With that, I'll turn it over to see if we have any questions. Thank you.